let's talk about the types of equipment that you will need in order to train properly. First, this should go without saying, but it doesn't. Loose-fitting clothing that is made specifically for fitness, okay? You should not be going into the gym training in jeans and work boots or nice shoes that you wore to the office. Alright, you're just not going to be able to get an optimal workout if you're not dressed for it. And what you really need is a nice pair of athletic shoes that are made specifically for sports and athletic activities. And if you're really serious about weightlifting and want to get into some strength training or want to be lifting heavy, you should get some shoes that are just for that. Because they're going to be different than shoes that are made for running and jumping, which will have a curved bottom, whereas weightlifting shoes have a flat bottom. You are also very much going to need a good weight belt. Alright, this will provide the low back support that you need when doing essential heavy lifting like squatting and deadlifting and anything where your low back might be compromised. I've chosen a non-leather one, which I got on Amazon for about 10 or 15 bucks or something like that. Alright, you could pay more if you want a fancier one, but I just figured why do that, okay, when I can get one cheaper. So safety first, make sure to protect your low back and get yourself a weight belt. And this right here is a medium because while I may be a large pant size, this does not go by your pant size. This goes by your waist size. So you do actually have to measure yourself to make sure you're getting the right size. Measuring your waistline at your stomach. Okay, not your hips. Alright, so make sure you measure yourself properly for this, otherwise you'll get one that's too big. And you do want to be able to wear it tight around your waist too, okay? So if you have one that's too big, it's going to be loose, it's not actually providing back support, alright? So safety first, make sure you get yourself a weight belt before doing any heavy lifting, and make sure you measure it properly and that it fits and that you wear it tight. And you wear it around your waist like this, so it provides some extra lumbar support. So now when I bend over, it's like my spine is being given some extra help to protect itself, but you need to have it on tight, okay? If it's on loose, you're not actually getting any protection. And you should be wearing one of these anytime you're doing any kind of exercises where you're lifting heavy and bending over, or lifting heavy and squatting, or putting yourself in any sort of position that could compromise your low back, okay? So squats, deadlifts, bent over rowing, good mornings, anything where your low back is the limiting factor. This will make it so that your low back is not the limiting factor and your target muscles can be. Next, there is another kind of weight belt that you will need if and only if you really want to develop your back and chest. And this is a weight belt that you can hang plates from. And so this gives you the ability to add weight on top of your body weight when doing pull-ups, chin-ups, and dips. And just like the other type of weight belt, you wear this one around your low back, except that with this one you simply have to loop your chain through there, and then you loop this through a plate and hook it on there. It's real easy. And then the plate will just hang between your legs. This gives you the ability to add 10, 20, 25, 35, 45 or more pounds to your chin-ups or any other exercise where you are hanging. Alright, so that is a really important thing to have if you want to be doing any sort of heavy chin-ups or pull-ups or dips, which are very important to do if you really want to work on your back and chest. So make sure you get one of those. Again, you can order it online on Amazon or wherever for like 10, 20 bucks. The next thing you need that I consider to be the most important, at least to me, and the piece of equipment that I use the most are wrist straps. These kinds of wrist straps, because there's another one coming up. But these are to wear like this, so that you can wrap this around a bar that you need to hold on to. And so you wrap it around like this with, the wrapping going out towards your thumb. Okay, and then you can get a good grip on it, and you don't really have to use your finger strength and grip strength as much to hold on to it. And thus your grip will no longer be the limiting factor in any of your pulling motions. Alright, so whenever you are pulling heavy or pulling for high reps, your grip will start to give out. And your back muscles, which are able to handle a lot of weight and meant to be able to do a lot of work, right? I mean, they're meant to pull your whole body up, right? Your back muscles will not be getting as good of a workout as they can because your grip will be slipping too soon. So to prevent your grip from slipping and being your limiting factor, you need these. That way your back muscles can get an optimized workout, right? And you also need these to prevent yourself from getting any sort of tendonitis or carpal tunnel or other sort of grip-related health problems, as that can and will happen. It's something that happens quite frequently with weightlifters, all right? So, as you can see, with this grip on, this thing doesn't even want to come out of my hand. I don't even know how I'm going to set it down now for the rest of the video. Oh, there we go. It could actually come out. Anyways, these are my personal favorite piece of equipment that I use all the time. Whenever I'm doing a whole lot of back work, going heavy on back, doing high volume training on back, doing high frequency training on back, I start to notice my grip becoming a limiting factor, and I start to get pain in my forearms, which tells me, if I keep this up, I'll start to develop tendonitis or carpal tunnel. But using one of these takes my grip out of the equation enough that it makes it safer. I stop getting the pain, and I'm able to train my back to the mat. So it's so important that you have these kinds of wrist straps, which again, you can get on Amazon for like 10 or 20 bucks. Next, we have some other kind of wrist straps. These wrap around your wrist, and they help to stabilize it when you are doing heavy pushing. So whenever I'm going heavy with barbell bench press or overhead press, I use these to help stabilize my wrist, keep it safe, make sure, again, I'm not going to start to have any pain or health issues associated with it. Now, I do not need to use these with dumbbells because I don't go as heavy with dumbbells, and I'm able to hold them as ergonomically as my body wants to. So when I'm doing dumbbell bench pressing, I'm doing it like this, right? With a barbell, you have to sort of hold it a certain kind of way. It's less ergonomical. So you really do need these when you're doing any sort of heavy barbell work, like basic strength training, all right? And again, they are available for about 10 bucks on Amazon. However, those aren't the only types of straps that there are. There's still more. There are long elastic straps like these for your knees and elbows. All right, there's going to be different sizes for your knees and elbows. These are an absolute must-have anytime you're going to be bending your knee under very heavy loads. All right, so anytime you're doing any sort of heavy squatting, deadlifting, or leg pressing, you absolutely must wrap your knees. For your knees, you basically need to get the longest ones possible, okay, because you want to wrap them around your knee as many times as possible. And the way that I was taught by a fellow bodybuilder is to start right below the knee, get it tight, go over the knee, back under, back over, and it's basically just over and under and over and under until you get to the point where you've run out. Make sure it's good and tight, and that stabilizes your knee on any heavy pressing that you are doing with your legs. Okay, so you shouldn't have to suffer through any sort of painful knee injuries when you're doing heavy leg pressing or squatting or deadlifting. So these are an absolute must anytime you're doing any of that, all right? Remember, safety first. And again, they also make a smaller version of these for your elbows, which are good for any heavy pushing movements, even only if your elbow bothers you, I think. And they also make another thing called an elbow sleeve that you can just put on if it bothers you, but it's not that bad. But I don't know a whole lot about these, so I can't tell you which ones are best and how to use them. Because I don't use them because I never get any sort of elbow pain. But I have looked at them before and thought about getting them just in case, and I know that what I get first is going to be an elbow sleeve to try before I start wrapping my elbows, because it's just going to be easier and more efficient to put on, you understand? So, safety first, wrap your joints before heavy lifting, and now moving on. If you're doing squats or hip thrusts and the bar bothers your body, get yourself one of these. All right, these go for like $5 on Amazon, and I don't use them when squatting, but I do use them when I'm doing hip thrusts because the bar obviously can hurt my hip or my thighs. So especially because I at times like to go heavy with my hip thrusts, using one of these is key, even though it's only for that one exercise. It's just that important, and again, only costs $5. And it'll just save you some pain and suffering that you might not want to go through, and might make you actually start skipping the exercises at sometimes, or not putting on as heavy of a load as you can handle. And you don't want to do that, all right? So just get yourself a bar pad off Amazon for $5 or so. Next, if you're getting calluses on your hands and you don't want to anymore, or your hands hurt when training, get yourself some good weightlifting gloves. These ones even come with a wrist strap to help with some wrist stability, and they make it so that your hand is not going to be getting hurt and roughed up by the bar. Alright, they do, however, make it so that your fingers have to do more work with holding on to the bar though. Okay, so that is a trade-off. You're also going to need a good, big, BPA-free water bottle for taking to the gym and chugging water during your workout, which is very important. It should go without saying, but it doesn't, because it is that important, and a lot of people don't seem to drink much during their workouts, which is very limiting to your strength. Studies have shown that you start to lose strength and do less reps at 2% dehydration. So make sure you bring a nice big water bottle to the gym with you. You also need a smaller bottle that you could put a shaker in, which again you can get on Amazon for literally just $1 or $2 or something like that, a couple bucks, right? And this goes into here for making quick protein shakes. Whenever you are on the run and you need some protein, which is so important to be getting enough of in a steady stream throughout the day, you need to just put a scoop or two of protein in there with some almond milk. So once you put your protein and almond milk in here, all you gotta do, shake it up, and you can just drink this on the go. However, for making bigger protein shakes that are more meant to replace a meal, like pre and post workout shakes, you really need a blender for that in order to blend up a banana with it and any other ingredients you might throw in there. So make sure you have a really good blender too.